another edition of Wrestling Sheet Radio. I'm your host, ProWrestlingSheet.com editor-in-chief Ryan Satin, here with my co-host Jamie Iovine.
Hey, everybody.
As well as my other co-host Kevin Silva.
Hey, how's it going?
Don't touch my hand. Nah, we're
I
friends.
want some of that fame on me.
Dude, this week was crazy. Yeah, so I'm so glad I can finally talk about this WWE Backstage stuff. Dude, my life has been so stressful the past, few months.
3 years.
No, that too. But the past few months, man, this whole thing has been a while.
It's a long process.
It's been a long process, yeah.
But,
those always take forever.
And I kept being because it got reported last week first, and I was like, can I say something now? It's already known, you know? And they were
But then we had some fun, being little silly boys about it.
I guess, yeah, but I mean,
I finally decided to go to Subway.
I don't know why I had to wait to the last second to announce it, but yeah, no, I'm so happy that I got to join the WWE Backstage team.
Awesome.
I'm so excited for the opportunity that Fox Sports is giving me. This whole time, ever since day one, you guys know, one of my main goals has always been to try and make things friendlier, the relationship friendlier between wrestling media, at least with one site and with WWE and the bigger major promotions and stuff. So,
it's a big step. It's a huge step.
It is, and
it's also crazy to see the word sheet put on a giant graphic on a WWE thing.
Yeah, it's funny. I got one of those memory things today on Facebook, and it was when AJ Styles got locked out of his car. Video I had on the site way back when, and they used it in some kind of WWE video, and it had credit Pro Wrestling Sheet in the corner, and it was a memory of me being I'm so excited to have a tiny credit in the corner. So yeah, it was a huge thing to have that. And I realized that WWE is obviously involved with the show. Renee Young's on there, Paige is on there, but it is being produced by Fox Sports.
Yeah.
It's a separate entity, and I just want reliable news for people. And so if I could be even more...
You need a reliable goddamn barber, Ryan.
I was going to...
Yeah. I was going to give you the opportunity to get notice about your Lego hair on TV.
Dude, I went in there and my hair wasn't...
By the way, thank you. That was one of my more viral tweets.
That was good. That was a good... That was a solid observation there. Exactly. I went there with my hair looking the way it normally does, and I was fine with it. Honestly, I didn't think it looked that bad or anything. And they have hair and makeup and all that kind of stuff. And I just, they're hair people. It's their job. So I was just sure.
They were working with what they had.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Well, I also didn't give them a lot of direction. It was and so they tried to give me more, I think, of a classic newscaster vibe, and I think people were thrown off since that's not necessarily the look I normally go for.
It was definitely Gulak from when he was doing his holding up the PowerPoint and all that.
I got a lot of that. Yeah, I got a lot of that, and I got a lot of Damian Sandow, and
that's never ending.
No, that always happens. Yeah.
I do the Booker burn.
Booker got you, man. Right away, just I got a beard. I got to
show Ryan some beard oil, but that's another
story for another time.
And then at the after party thing, for the premiere, there was a little get together, and he comes up to me and he's like, all right, here's the name of the product. And he just, it wasn't a joke.
I wasn't joking.
No, he wasn't joking. He was like, here's the name of the product.
Shit up, brother.
He's like, man, I started using it. It changed everything for me with my beard. It made my beard look so much better. Here's the name of it. I wrote it down.
And then he scissor kicked you.
If you could text me that name of the product too, that'd be much appreciated.
No, dude, honestly, I've done a few screen tests now, as you two know, but I've done a few screen tests, and there's been some really famous people to us, to wrestling stars that are at these things. But at this after party thing, and on Tuesday I finally got to talk with Christian, because it's the first time I got to meet Christian, and talk to Booker T more, and they're the nicest guys. Just getting to hear
Christian part of the show.
I think he's going to be part of the panel. Yeah, I mean, he's been part of the first 3 shows.
Okay, cool.
I don't know how often that panel will rotate. I think they are going to have other people that come in and out, but I'm not positive.
First 3 shows.
Well, because there was 2 preview episodes too, and then this was the premiere of
Kevin, I'm sorry. What the fuck did you do to your finger, dude?
Sorry. Yeah.
What did you do?
I was nervous in traffic, and I was biting
fingernail stuff gets
everything.
Me.
I'll hide it from you.
I don't know how often the panel will get switched in and out. I'm guessing some people will come in and out. I don't know that.
Because I was waiting to see Samoa Joe. I was waiting to see Joe.
It's funny too, because while I was going through these screen tests, it was funny to read reports of Jerry Lawler like is being eyed for the show, and Kathy Kelly, and I'm like sitting there in these screen tests, and I'm like
I never saw either
I
one.
haven't seen any of these people. Like I don't know where this is coming from, and so it was certainly interesting. But like I was saying, like Booker T, I'm glad that he actually was trying. They were all literally everyone there. Renee, Paige, all of them, the producers, so helpful. Like they realized that this is my first time doing something in this capacity. Like I was on TMZ for whatever, like 6 years or whatever, but it was very different kind of position that I'm in here, and so everyone was so helpful. Like honestly, just sitting there watching Renee in the rehearsals and on Tuesday. It's so impressive to see how good she is at her job.
She seems so smooth. Like,
it's insane. Yeah. It's insane. Like especially seeing like how things change and all that kind of stuff. Like just seeing her do her thing is impressive. What's going on over here, Jamie?
I just the last part, the last 5 minutes just makes me laugh because it's so funny
when they're roasting people for Twitter.
Because they're literally doing this.
I like it.
No, don't get me wrong. I enjoy like the fact if they are like actual real tweets, then that's awesome.
No, they are real tweets.
Okay, cool. But I'm just saying, like, it's a lot of this. It's like, yeah, well, yeah, but I'm good at my job. Don't get me wrong. I support everybody on the show, but it was really. I was like,
well, it's playing off the first one when Renee was kind of did like a little bit of a freestyle in that first one.
Like when you had assemblies in high school. And like they had those hit people that came and rapped about like how you shouldn't like have sex and stuff.
Of course,
it kind of reminded me of that.
I'm sorry, we had an assembly at our high school where Mr. Belding showed up, so that was pretty.
That was cool.
I'm your principal now.
He did the whole hey.
Yeah, he walked out and we were just like what? Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, Dennis is a good guy.
Dennis Haskins.
Good guy.
I'm not shitting on the segment.
I know.
I just think it's
oh no, totally.
And especially because the camera is doing this.
But yeah, so and just for clarity, like I reached out to Fox when I had first heard that maybe the show was going to be going on like this. Since I first started wrestling, I was, since I grew up in television with my dad having his own production company, I always thought that a studio show for wrestling was something that was like an untapped market. So when I heard that like there was maybe gonna be a show like this, like I reached out because I had already had a relationship with Fox Sports from Jacob, who is the senior vice president there.
Let's take this opportunity to give you a quick interview with a question.
Okay.
I have.
Okay.
Why do you think this is going to work where ESPN did not?
Well, ESPN didn't have an actual relationship with WWE. It was kind of like an informal thing. And also, ESPN never actually had a show that they did that was a WWE show.
Yes, yeah.
Even their vertical, they never hired someone specifically for WWE content. They only had people that were also wrestling fans. Even now, that's still how it is. The people that work for ESPN that do the wrestling content, they mainly cover another sport there, and they also have a passion in wrestling, so they'll do something there as well. So I think that the fact that obviously Fox has a what's the word I'm looking for? They've got a dog in this fight. They clearly they have a big investment in WWE. So I think that this show will fill the gap more of where Talking Smack, the gap that has been left by Talking Smack, that hole in our hearts for Talking Smack. I think that's the real target audience right there. The people who miss that kind of thing, where there's like you get to see wrestlers that are like a little bit out of character, just blending the lines a little bit, seeing fun segments, hearing people's actual opinions about things. I think that's really where the show is gonna have its strength right there.
I found it fun when Renee was even just like saying like, "Hey, I thought I was done with commentary forever, and I got brought back in," and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of like a thing that I wouldn't imagine her saying, like,
totally,
or like out loud."
She got booted in the face.
Honestly, when I saw that happen, I was like, "Oh God, I hope she doesn't have a black eye for the first episode next week."
Wouldn't that be something?
Would be kind of sick.
But no, I also, for the first episode, I can't not mention the fact that I did get scooped before my first episode. I did get scooped. I know that PW Insider broke the story. There's only so much I can do. I'm working it, I'm doing my best, but there were scripts and all these things in place and stuff like that.
I mean, so do you have a time? You have a time that you're going on. It's not real time for the scoop on the show,
I had it hours before. I probably shouldn't have tweeted a tease about it. I probably made people start trying to figure out what I was working on. But it's, for my and the Alexa Bliss thing was new information that wasn't known by people. So I'm working on it. I hope to have a scoop that doesn't get scooped next week. And my hope is to try and break exclusives on the show when I'm on there, stuff that hasn't been reported on yet. There will be times I'm reporting things that are already known that just are interesting topics of the week, but I am gonna try and do more exclusives on there. So hopefully I don't get scooped again next week.
Next week on the satin sheet.
I didn't come up with that either. It was good though.
If you're a sweaty guy, you probably won't like the satin sheets.
And if you
got Blue Chew, you probably love the satin sheet.
And lastly, I am. I had a lot of people from WWE that were not just friends and people from WWE who are more suit people. All the suit people that I know did all give me crap for my tie as well. They said I tied it terribly, like as if I was going to a bar mitzvah or something like that, which I get. That is the only tying of a tie I really know.
You are the first episode of The Simpsons. Your animation is all weird. The voices are different. Eventually, you'll get the episode to season 10, brother.
All right, hopefully, I like that. So yeah, Steve.
Like occasionally, the mouths will go over here.
Steve's helping me on the suit front since he's a suit guy. He's already offered. He's hooking me up with some people that know more about suits than I.
Which is anybody.
And then Kevin's sister's a hairstylist, so
a pretty notable one at this point.
She did the Keanu Reeves' girlfriend on the first.
who's on the hot button, hot topic.
She is a hot topic of the moment.
We had no idea until the picture came over. Like, what the fuck?
And so she's gonna do my hair this weekend. I set up that appointment today,
cool,
so
cool.
she's coming over and she's gonna do her hair. So hopefully. We'll see, maybe I'll get to season 2.
I'm going to stand by what I said originally, is that this is Erica's fault, because this, that is the last, check.
The girlfriend?
Yeah.
Well, she's working her new job this week. She just got a new job.
You couldn't send her a photo?
I didn't think, honestly, my hair was fine when I left the house, and I just let the lady mess with it. It was fine before.
This is Erica's fault.
Because you're going to be like, Fox, could I wear a hat? Can I wear a hat?
Okay, got it. Okay.
Can't wear a hat? What if it's a fancy hat?
And then before we get into all this...
What if
it's a bowler? Can I wear a bowler?
I need you to wear a top hat and a monocle next episode.
Start wearing
You guys
weird...
wanted me to dress fancy.
What? I'm just going for my Abraham Lincoln look.
If you look like straight Monopoly man. Why is that so funny?
You have a cane, you swing it, you're like, ready for the news.
And before I want to get into other stuff wrestling related
Absolutely.
now. This is wrestling related, but I also want to thank all you guys. Obviously, real fast. Literally, if you guys hadn't watched these shows the past, if you hadn't watched the show the past year, if you haven't been listening the past couple of years, I would not have gotten there if you guys hadn't done that. I wouldn't have been getting this opportunity if you guys hadn't been reading the website, if you guys hadn't been spreading the word of Pro Wrestling Sheet. So really, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you all for helping me get to this point. I will not disappoint all of you. Hopefully, I don't get fired soon.
Fired tomorrow.
And I want, before we get into Raw, because I want to cover Raw, I want to cover SmackDown, I want to cover all these things. I want to cover NXT. What time did you be out of here at? Exactly 6? Yeah? I'm just wondering for time. Okay. Real fast, I also want to talk about Jamie's first wrestling match.
Ooh.
Should we talk about that a little bit?
If you want.
I mean, I think the listeners and the viewers want to hear you talk. We were there.
Yeah, the sheet, except for Eli, who's, I don't know what he was doing, braiding his pubes or something. I don't know.
He was moving.
He was moving.
They're similar.
Yeah,
I think they're similar. But yeah, Jamie versus Adrian Quest at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood this weekend. You were unsuccessful in your first
I didn't come out on top in that one.
That pipsqueak, he's pretty okay.
He caught me unawares a few times. You know,
my favorite was just as knowing Jamie and being a friend of his. I know that he's just he's a lifelong wrestling fan, but deep down inside he is a Hulkamaniac.
Oh my god!
So
doing the Hulk
I love that when he got there, he couldn't help himself. When he was like, "This is my chance. I gotta do the whole. I gotta do the Hulkamania Hulk up thing." Of course, and did the whole flex and the arms up. I loved it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I got a little overconfident. As you can see, you were there. I've watched some tape back.
You hit your finisher too early.
I hit it too early, and I didn't cover.
That is 100% a problem.
You kept on. You're like, Royce, what I do? He's like, fucking cover him.
You know what? I think it was just the lights, the fact that I was competing for the first time as opposed to managing. I got caught unawares. I made a lot of rookie mistakes, and I can only hope and just better from the tape. And
I feel
forward.
like we need now over the next few weeks. Jamie should start training for the next one, and we get the kind of like those old school
Montages.
Vince, the one where Vince was chasing the chickens and stuff.
Get the chicken.
Get the chicken. We need one of those with Jamie and Royce. Of Royce training Jamie and
I need a pole on my head and a corn dog on a string.
I like that. Okay, well, before we get into all the top stories of the week, or before we get into all the shows and stuff, I think we should talk about the top story of the week, because I think it really factors into really everything that kind of followed, and that is all this stuff that happened in Saudi Arabia with the plane, with the plane that got delayed. Now, this all
Heard about that? Something happened, right?
yeah, a little thing happened. So basically, I'm sure anyone listening already knows, but after Crown Jewel, all the wrestlers were rushing back to the airport so that they could get home in time for SmackDown, which was the following day.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which in itself was insane that they thought they could do that. The flight was supposed to leave around 3 a.m. local time. They had more than 175 superstars, production crew, and employees that were all aboard this really fancy 747 charter jet. And they're all ready to go. And first it takes them hours to get on the plane for some reason. There's from information I put together from what AJ Styles said on Mixer and what Corey Graves said on his podcast After the Bell. Basically, a fuel truck was blocking the plane initially, and they were like, "What the hell?" And they were like, "Well, can you guys move the fuel truck?" And apparently, 'cause it was so late, there was nobody at the airport that could operate the fuel truck. So first, they had to find someone to come from home.
Here's the thing: 175 wrestlers on a plane. They could all come get out.
You want them to pull a Mentos commercial?
Absolutely.
Just push it.
They're not gonna lift it like it's a little car, but they could push it out of the way.
Honestly, they could lift it like a little.
Absolutely.
Wait, how big is a fuel truck?
And
I mean,
Braun
it's probably
Strowman
big.
has flipped at least a few cars.
But
at
I'm
this
saying
point.
they could have moved it.
Right.
We've seen all those Power Man things.
Braun, get out of the car. get out
Yeah,
of the
Braun
plane,
even did a
just
thing where he
go
pulls
push
the
it.
truck.
Fuel truck's pretty big. Now that I'm looking at it,
I'm not saying they're gonna pick it up like it's a little sport, like a little smart car or anything. But I'm like,
that's pretty big.
Braun's pushed that before.
That's pretty big.
We've seen
they
him
could
do that.
yank that.
They
Braun-
could yank that.
They could push it out of the way.
That's pretty big. Okay, but so then finally that gets moved, and then apparently there was
Could have moved earlier if they didn't push it.
they just eaten some Mentos in the airport.
That's what I'm saying.
Then apparently there was paperwork issues, which I imagine was something to do with their daily visas, because I think while you're there you have to get a daily visa. You have to keep paying for your visa or something like that. So I'm imagining there was some sort of visa issue, and then after all that gets settled, they finally get on the plane, and when they get on the plane, they find out that they're all told that one of the parts is broken.
It has no phalanges.
So then they're on the plane now for hours, just waiting for the part to get fixed, basically. Corey Graves on his podcast, he says that he was near the cockpit and actually heard them talking about the mechanical issues, that they were stopping and starting the plane. They were doing all these different things to try and get the plane to work. It wasn't working. So then after hours of this, they finally, the crew maxes out on hours, and they're like, we can, legally, they can't go past a certain amount of hours or whatever. So they're like,
A lot of red tape.
we can't go now anymore.
I guess it's a chartered plane, but on most commercial flights, you're not allowed to be on the plane if it's not moving for that, for more than a few hours.
That makes sense. And so then, so they maxed out. They couldn't. The crew had to leave. So then they basically deplaned everyone again
Had the
after
shift change
5 hours.
yeah.
And at that point, it was now I think they had gotten there at 1 in. It was now 7 or 8 in the morning or something like that. And so finally they were like, we're just sending everyone home. And they sent everyone back to the hotel to just wait it out until the next flight could leave. And so then they finally were able to come back. And now when all this was going on, people like Vince left right away. Brock left right away.
Hogan and Flair
left right away. Tyson Fury left right away. But there was still like this handful of talent who were SmackDown talent that were trying to get there in time to avoid this big charter jet issue. And so they chartered their own jet and tried to get home in time for SmackDown, but that also didn't make it home in time. What a mess, right?
What was the time? Do you know what the time that they were scheduled to arrive originally? The original itinerary, like what time they were supposed to actually land?
If the first one had happened,
yeah.
If it was 3, I'm bad at math. Maybe you're better than me, but it was 3 a.m. and I believe it was like if you're not flying commercial, I think it was like a 14 or a 16-hour flight or something like that. If you fly commercial, it's like a 20-hour flight.
Man, that's literally there's literally nothing worse than when you're on a plane and then you have to get off.
That's the worst.
It's the worst feeling in the world, especially if it's in the morning and you haven't slept yet. These guys probably haven't slept yet because they probably went straight from the arena to the airport.
Yeah.
And, ugh.
Yeah, I feel bad because, also there was all this like the internet was in a panic over this whole thing too. Like you were seeing all these like all these theories of like Vince and the Prince and all this.
As much as they're trying to, like the tourism stuff and all that, like they're trying to up it and make it seem a little more commercialized. A guy was murdered there.
Yeah, reputation is a reputation.
Yeah, let's call a spade a spade. He wasn't just murdered; he was cut into tiny pieces. Yeah. It's.
And I understand that's why tensions were probably high on the plane and stuff. But also at the same time,
you never know.
From everyone I have spoken with and everyone I've talked to, there was no one that was like actually felt like they were. There was no one that was like an imminent. There wasn't. They were. The internet thought they were being held hostage.
Right.
The internet acted like they were being held with like guns on the plane.
Someone posted the first thing that we came out was someone saying no one's talking about this, so they're being held there.
Yes,
and it's like.
Why would you put that fear out there in everyone?
So much, and everyone was just like, "What is happening? What is happening?
Yes.
What is happening?"
And then people at home, like wives and stuff, are freaking out. Husbands are freaking out, and like people I talk to, like, we got to play video games on the plane for 5 hours. Like we were getting fed good food while we were just sitting there in our seats. Like I don't understand.
Yeah, it's definitely annoying. It's an annoying thing that you had to be there. It's an annoying thing that you had to go back to the hotel. You're tired. You haven't slept. Like
it's dude. I'm not gonna like undermine. I'm not trying to undermine how shitty that situation is.
But at the same time, like it could have been a lot worse.
So how long were they back at the hotel for?
I think they finally left the next day at they left during SmackDown. So
man, because I mean, if that was the case, I literally go back, close every blind, and just nap until it was ready to go again.
That's basically what I heard people were doing. Either that, or they just went and like got fed real well for a few hours and hung out so they could sleep on the plane because it's a long plane flight, anyways. But yeah, it was and I understand the internet being scared. It's like for the reasons that you said and stuff.
Yeah.
But I also wish that some people wouldn't like just jump to conclusions and stuff too. Like and also. Social media, sometimes you can't tell sarcasm through social media either, or stuff like that. So I don't know. I felt like the panic was a little wild.
It definitely was like, well, it definitely caused questions. That initial tweet being like, making everyone go, "What's happening?
Live by the sword, die by the sword."
It's like, but I don't know. I mean, when you look at like Montez Ford, like looking up or like trying to dance while Angelo Dawkins in the background, like looking pissed off, like that seems like a gimmick with them too. Like
and I also think that
it's all tongue in cheek in a way.
Probably.
Yeah,
like I said, it probably sucked. They may even have been the victims of someone of them getting messed with.
Yeah, absolutely.
People on the internet were making it seem like these people were going to get murdered. Like that's the vibe that they were like. The internet was in a panic over it. It seemed a little silly.
Which is crazy. It's like, hey, let's feature these guys on on worldwide television, then kill them the next day.
Vince got into an argument with the Prince, and that's what's happening. Well, why did Vince get left? Why did Vince be allowed? Why was he allowed to leave? Well, I don't know. Well, why was Hogan and Brock and Flair allowed to leave? Well, I don't know. Why was Tyson Fury allowed to leave? Well, I don't know. But clearly. The Prince had an issue here. And it's like, well, there's really nothing to like support that. So I get it. There's things where there was a delay and stuff like that. But I don't know. The whole thing seemed a little. I don't know. I realized I shouldn't say far-fetched because I understand the circumstances here, but I was like, man, I wish that someone would go off of like something more concrete.
Right.
Guys,
I've only taken 4 4-hour flights before in my lifetime, and I can't even imagine like 12 hours. My biggest fear is pooping on a plane.
Have you ever pooped on a plane?
Fuck no. I peed every flight on the plane. That was already terrifying. Like that was like the flushing noise.
It's very loud.
Scary.
It's very loud.
I had to put like my hair. I was like, all right, flush. It was awful. I can't even imagine like, especially if they're like getting fed really well before they hop back on the plane. And I'm like, oh, you're gonna poop. You're gonna poop.
I don't know if I've had. I don't know.
That sounds terrifying. Then you get
how big are the bathrooms on a private plane? Are they big?
They're bigger.
They're
not
bigger
like
than,
they're
like, a
not like
commercial flight?
actual bathrooms. No, they're
They're not like an act. But are they pretty? Like are they like?
They're nice.
Like
you can sit in one.
They're like a
and
trailer
not
bathroom?
like a.
It's still
Like you could poop in a private plane, airplane, and not feel as weird about it.
Like it's weird because you would think like why don't they make the bowls bigger? Like but no, but the bowls are still the same. It's just like the shit surrounding it is.
You have a little more room.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. More just like I could have my because I don't sitting in one of those seems rough. Like,
It still is even on the private ones. It still is pretty like.
Is it
I'm a private plane and toilet hurts.
Is it a faux pas to maybe just poop in the bag and then toss it in?
What?
I think that would cause some plumbing issues.
I'm just saying.
Wait, I feel like also
The
though,
fear
I feel
is
like
sitting
pooping on a
on-
private plane though because there's so few people there that it is a little more scary. I feel like 'cause,
No,
like,
my whole fear is the getting sucked through the fucking hole.
That's your fear?
Yeah.
That's Kevin. Do you know how big you are? You're not going to get
Compared
sucked
to
through the
I
hole.
know, but like I don't know how pressure works. Maybe it can suck.
His guts will come out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank
Oh
you.
my god!
All
All
right,
right,
just be turned inside out from.
I don't want to have a prolapse anus, guys. Come on.
That's what I'm saying.
all right. Well, let's move on to SmackDown.
That's a soundbite. I don't want to have a prolapse anus, guys.
If we had if we kept up our t-shirts. Then.
Oh man. Okay. Well, SmackDown happened, and because of this plane thing, it was a lot of stuff went down. It kind of threw the whole show out of whack, and because I didn't do a Raw or SmackDown recap, and I'm still working on what I'm going to do with those shows or if I'm going to do them. I'm working on it. But I want to talk about. I'm going to go through all the rest of these shows, but we're going to only spend a little bit of time on everything. We're not going to do a full recap. I'm just going to talk about some of the highlights of like the bigger things that I think that we'll want to talk about maybe and see if it evokes any conversation. So the first thing that happened was Brock Lesnar quitting SmackDown to go to Raw,
Which we expected.
which seemed very expected once the Fiend won the Universal Championship. It seemed like it was inevitable.
Yeah.
Do you like the Fiend winning? Do you guys like the Fiend winning the title?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that moment, but as you know, like you got to think, okay, because a good babyface, which he's still in that gray area to me. Bray Wyatt, like in terms of he's a good guy or a bad guy,
Okay.
because you really don't know.
I feel like Funhouse Bray is a good guy.
Yeah.
Fiend is a bad guy.
Anyway,
That's what you want. That they want you to.
yeah, but it's the good babyface always has to chase the title,
Yeah.
right? And it's almost like whenever the babyface has the title, it's almost like a rest period because it's like, well, he's not chasing nothing. Well, I guess he's defending it, but it's nowhere near as interesting, is what I'm saying. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do with a reigning Fiend champion.
Yep.
I mean, he's the most serious monster that they've ever had in WWE.
Ever, but
in a
right
long
now.
time.
In a long, there we go. Okay.
Very long. I mean,
I was going to say Undertaker is
well,
pretty
yeah,
good.
true. But like, I mean, just seeing the onslaught that the Fiend goes through, and then just that scene where he like pops back, the shot where he pops back up after he goes through the like electrocuted and all that,
Which looked cool.
It was really awesome. Like
Yeah.
that spot.
They
looks
also
amazing.
they got to get rid of that red light.
Red light
I
needs to go.
hate it so
Which is
much.
weird because he didn't have it when he fought Finn.
And it was cool when he
Exactly.
fought Finn, when
And
it
it
was
was fine.
brighter, when they darkened everything else and they had the spotlight on them.
Yeah, like the main event,
Way
like,
cooler because it
lighting,
was
yeah.
like you could see that cool mask.
Yeah.
It makes it so like, wait, the cool mask and cool outfit he has, I can't see it when he uses
I
it.
get their mind frame, like maybe to look spookier, but like I thought he looked just as spooky.
He
with
looks
it.
spooky on his own.
I think it looks scarier in just because the other guy doesn't look like that.
Yes.
And it's just like the other guy is apparently it's obvious
It's
that
like
he
you didn't
does
like-
not look like the Fiend.
You
Yep.
didn't like the ring weird when the Undertaker fought. You didn't like the ring weird when Kane fought.
You didn't like it when Sin Cara had
Dude,
that
the
weird
Sin Cara
blue light
light,
thing.
that's all I could think about
Me
the
too.
whole time. I
And
was
I go,
like-
and I think to myself, Who liked the Sin Cara light?
Nobody.
Except for Booker T going, oh, he's getting caught up in the lights. That's all the only person.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed the thing they did with Fiend that we did with the Fiend
Backstage.
on Backstage. It's weird to say it like that, but the thing that the Fiend did on Backstage where he had his first Firefly Funhouse with the title, I thought that was really cool. We'll put a pin on Brock because we're going to talk about him on
It's
Raw.
red still, though. Everybody thought that
They were going to turn it to blue?
Yeah. A red belt on a blue brand is weird.
It's confusing.
Yes.
I honestly think at some point they'll switch the titles back too somehow. I don't know how, but I feel like maybe that
They should
happens
just trade.
somehow. Or
Just here, you can have this one and I'll have this one.
here you go, buddy. Isn't that what Cena and Batista did back in the day? No, because they just switched brands.
Yeah.
And said, you're right. Because he had this. That's when he brought him. They had the spinner belt.
Yeah, they just said, okay, well, that's the new thing now.
You're right. Okay, so we'll put a pin in Brock because we're gonna go back to him on Raw. Another big thing that happened though was all these NXT things. We'll get into all of these. So Shayna attacking Bayley.
That was amazing.
So
that running knee looked so crisp.
And my favorite thing is that Shayna has since said that and all these guys have basically said that they were they barely got there as the show was starting. Like they were.
Yeah, I mean, like Sean literally walked into the building and then to the shot.
Yeah,
straight shot. Just.
And Shayna said she was literally not walking, running into the building to make it in time. So I love that she actually was rushing still when she
probably
came
in those clothes.
It is what she came in, and so then she comes rushing in, and takes down Bayley.
If she had a neck pillow on still, that'd be great. She forgot.
And she takes out Sasha Banks. I like the continuation of the 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen stuff. I also thought the sit down they did with Becky and Shayna
That was
good.
on Raw was fantastic. I felt like just in the past week they did such a good job making Shayna Baszler seem like such a badass.
I was in stitches. Kevin Condron, he does the best Becky Lynch impression ever. Oh my God! Ask him to do it next time you see him. God, it had me in stitches. It was too good.
But I love that I like the way they did it, how they started the interview with Becky Lynch, how it seemed like she was just going to do a regular sit-down interview, and you kind of hear Shayna from off camera just kind of hey, what's going on here type thing.
Yeah, that was good. It made it feel more natural for that moment.
WWE locker room has just become people who just in rooms hey, come, I'm in here. Well, I'm also in this room. It's really what it's become.
No one
it's
was
playing hide and seek.
It really is.
At least no one was like, I want to have a fight.
They put him back in the fucking room.
I know. It's on the different show too. Does this room just go anywhere?
It's this where he just lives until he has to fight.
But I also loved where Shayna did the whole I'm not Ronda Rousey thing.
Oh, yeah,
I thought that made her seem pretty badass too.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because she's like, yeah, Ronda Rousey was here, but I'm not her.
Which is going to be interesting to me going forward with Shayna, because while Shayna is being billed as is almost like a Ronda equal, she doesn't have the accolades. She did well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong.
It's different. It's very different because Shayna Baszler helped kind of usher in the women's MMA. There really was no women's MMA back in the Shayna Baszler's days.
Yeah,
she helped start things. She helped lead the thing that Ronda Rousey then kind of took over after. Yeah, took over afterwards.
It's going to be interesting, but you understand what I'm saying. She didn't win championships.
Well, she wasn't as famous as Ronda Rousey. She didn't become a household name like Ronda Rousey did. But also, because of that, she's really cut her teeth in pro wrestling.
She's gotten a chance to become well-known in pro wrestling.
She's more
respected because of it.
She's a better wrestler than Ronda.
Absolutely. So that adds a lot to it, because then it almost gives her that respect from Becky, and it's a different type. Her saying she's not Ronda Rousey makes more impactful, because she's no, I could go in the ring. She's Ronda does a hip toss. Yeah, whatever. I could actually have a wrestling match with you.
And I like that they're doing the whole champion versus champion versus champion thing.
Yeah.
Because it does add a fun element. It makes Survivor Series seem like brand supremacy for real.
Are we going to get Seth versus The Fiend again?
It's funny,
it really seems
they
that
haven't
way.
announced the title match, and you go just as wrestling fans, you go, there's no way Brock Lesnar and The Fiend. There's no way Brock Lesnar is going to do a match with Adam Cole. There's no way. There's no way. And if they do, cool. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but I just look at it and go that's going to be a hard sell, I feel to Brock Lesnar at this point.
Because, he's around the same size as Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan's a little thicker than Adam Cole.
But the thing is, like, then adding into
definitely is.
adding into the character of Adam Cole, he could be a little chicken shit and like run around the ring and then try to hide from him and then only get his like little licks in when he gets an opportunity.
Brock's got at least 200 pounds on him.
I know, yeah. I mean, he could swing it like a baseball bat.
I also just look at like I like Adam Cole. I have nothing against Adam Cole. I think Adam Cole's great. The visual of like Adam Cole versus The Fiend versus Brock Lesnar,
So
seems
weird.
Strange match.
Like
Very
it's a
weird.
very weird match. Like I don't even know if it would be good necessarily because it's just like so three conflicting of styles that I almost maybe would be interested in it. But I'm with
Right.
you, Jamie. I actually think that Adam Cole loses the NXT Championship before Survivor Series to someone like a Seth Rollins or
The thing,
or Daniel Bryan, someone like that they can put in that match because I'm not saying people like us won't accept it, but you know that there's that huge portion of the audience that would see that and just be like, well, excuse me?
I do you one question better. Like, what would even just remove Adam Cole from the situation? What is a
Fiend
Bray
versus
Wyatt Brock Lesnar match like?
also very strange.
Also very strange.
Well,
I
what
wonder
would
that
that be?
myself because you go like, well,
You
Brock
gotta
Lesnar's not
protect
going to act scared.
You can't have Brock Lesnar be scared because it ruins Brock Lesnar, and you can't have the Fiend be defeated already.
But
you know?
Brock does sell scared a lot of times, and just when it's
The only person I've seen him act scared with is The Undertaker.
And Kane. He acts scared with Kane the other day.
And like, so like
The other day?
When he did the SmackDown when he premiered a few weeks ago, I
Yeah.
guess.
He was scared of...
Yeah.
When
he
Kane's
was-
music and he was all like,
Yeah.
the whole like scared thing, which was like...
the thing is, like, I think a lot of people don't, and not you guys, but like a lot of people don't understand is that Brock sells so
He-
damn
oh,
yeah,
well.
yeah, if he wants to,
He's
yeah.
incredible at selling. Like, and he knows his mission. He's like, I'm gonna get my licks in, but I'm also gonna sell the shit out and make somebody look good. And like, it's
also a respect thing, I think. I think Brock only sells with people that he thinks like, actually is like are good.
And I also don't feel like there's any reason to put Brock versus The Fiend against each other right now because, to be honest with you, The Fiend is becoming their Brock that will be around all the time.
Absolutely.
If they want him to. You know, like, they can be... He
An
can
undefeatable
be that,
monster.
An undefeatable monster that is a looming presence over the show that they only use The Fiend when need be. But, like... you know, he's still around for the other stuff, you know? And so I think that you don't want to lessen either of those two because they're both two people that you can kind of not have in a match every couple of weeks and it's okay.
It's kind of interesting. Like, there's elements to the Fiend character right now that like seem like what they should have done, and when they were trying to get Solomon Crow off the ground in NXT, like having him like hack into the show and just kind of be like elsewhere while he was making things happen, and it was just like that just never happened. Like, and that's
I don't understand the comparison that you're
Really?
making at all.
No,
What do you mean?
like when he's just
The
kind
Fiend's
of
not like a hacker.
not like a hacker, but like he has a little
The Fiend's just on
Hurt heel.
Yeah.
Hurt heel.
I mean, he might. Who knows? You don't know his pastimes. But like when things were all flipped around that one time on Raw, and then like
I feel like you're reaching here.
That was a production issue.
That was
No.
the first issue. It was on purpose.
it was on purpose.
When they had it upside down?
Yeah.
Why?
To like make it look like he had taken over the show. That wasn't a mistake. That was on purpose.
Yeah, and then there was also like different things with like the WWE logo and the one at the beginning of the show.
But like Solomon Crow never did those things. He did it like once.
I know. I'm saying that that's what they should have done.
Oh, they
for him.
should have done for him.
Ryan.
Man,
Got
they
it.
didn't go
Ryan
all in on
Satin.
Solomon Crow.
Well, let's get to things that actually happened here.
I want to
Let's
rip
talk.
your lungs in.
What did you guys think about Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole versus Seth Rollins?
Amazing.
They're all good. They're all good matches.
I think the Adam Bryan and Adam Cole one, it was like a match. I was like, I never thought I was going to see this, and it was incredible.
Yeah,
The fact that he went over clean.
It's funny. I Googled while it was happening. I went to the cage match or whatever.com and to see like how many times Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan had wrestled each other. And I was shocked when I learned that this was the first time they had wrestled each other ever. I was like, what?
Because I was thinking about if that was Adam Cole when Daniel Bryan was around, Adam Cole's that like little scrawny kid,
Oh, yeah.
like that was like
Future
doing
Shock
the
days.
Future Shock days, and like so like that. I don't think that would ever linked up.
Yeah, no, apparently they had been on like 3 indie shows together,
But not fighting
but
each
not
other.
against each other. Yeah, and I think some of that match was called on the fly too.
I say scrawny Adam Cole like he's not small, but like you know what I mean.
Yeah, but and I think some of that match with Daniel Bryan was called on the fly a little bit
yeah.
because of the fact that they got there as the show was going on. That match was so good. Like that match had me like going. I was pumped on that match.
And that just adds to the fact that like Daniel Bryan's just that good.
Yeah.
Like he could call a match on the fly with somebody else who's gonna, and props to Adam Cole for listening throughout the match, because of course Daniel Bryan's gonna be the one that's taking control.
And you love seeing his like Triple H and Shawn Michaels on the outside of the ring, just like loving, like you got Shawn Michaels just like loving dad over there,
Oh,
where he's
absolutely.
like watching the two kids he trained doing their thing in the ring, because you
It was
forget
like
that
our two dads
he had like a
over
little
here, yeah.
hand in Daniel Bryan's
Right.
career too.
Triple H. I got to be honest. I don't like Triple H being the front of NXT for the Survivor Series thing.
Why?
It
He's Papa Triple H.
I get what you're
Papa
saying.
H.
Is it just
Because he's so associated with every other
Everything,
part of the
right.
company,
Yeah.
so it's like it's like weird. We know that you're involved in SmackDown and Raw as well. You know, it's like we know that you're Papa Triple H at NXT. I just don't think he needed it, because there's nobody championing for Raw. There's nobody championing for SmackDown. Why do they need a champion? Like, why not just make Tommaso Ciampa the guy? You know,
Fair.
that's what I thought.
Fair. I guess, that definitely makes sense. I also think, though,
I get why, but he's like, you're either with us or you're against us, and I'll see you for the board meeting on Friday. It's like,
he's all being gorilla during Raw and SmackDown.
but don't fuck with me over there.
but I am with you. You're part of Raw, too. Don't tell her it's
Stop
TV
it.
right
It doesn't
now.
make any sense to me. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough. The Ciampa versus The Miz match was good. But it was one of those things when it was happening, I was just like,
Is this Mad Libs?
It's just right.
Is this Mad Libs?
It was like one of those bots you see on Twitter that like puts out just like automated matches that never happen. It's
Right.
like I forget what they're called, like WrestleBot or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, they can't make Miz go over on this, and then at the same time, like, they can't make Ciampa sell too much to them. It really was like a competitive match.
They did a really good job, I feel like,
Yeah.
considering you had like some
like, excuse
political hurdles there, you
Yeah.
know? I would have liked to have seen more of Matt Riddle and Keith Lee on SmackDown.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing with Sami Zayn didn't really make sense to me. It was like, wait, you just want to beat him because he's not wearing an NXT shirt? Why would he be wearing an NXT shirt right now?
Did you listen to what we just said about Triple H? You're either with us or you're against us.
Got it.
You dumb.
They invaded.
Got it. It's just Matt Riddle, like, I think you guys know how big of a fan I am of Matt Riddle. It's just like, I feel like Matt Riddle leading your invasion is like the most chill invasion ever, of like, he looks like he's your friend, so you're like, wait, are we hanging? Are you about to beat me up?
Are we
not friends?
Are we not friends?
I also thought the Rhea Ripley and Tegan Knox thing, the only thing that
This dips into the thing I was talking to you about, where like I don't like when like invasions like this happen, and like it's people that weren't necessarily partnering with each
Yes.
other are like now like we're buddies because we have a mission.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
agreed.
I don't like that.
Me neither.
It
Like,
happens
that could've
every year
been-
for Survivor Series.
Yeah,
Like, that could have been Dakota and Tegan, and it would have made way more sense.
Absolutely.
Because, like,
Like when
Rhea
Bray-
injured Tegan Knox.
Like rewind a few Survivor Series ago when Bray Wyatt was like part of Shane's team, and you're like, why would he?
Yes.
Like, why would he team with anybody
Yes.
other than his family members?
Yes. Those things bother me too.
I mean, he had a SmackDown T-shirt on and his hat still. Like,
I'm glad we were on the same page on that
Yeah,
one.
those are things I don't enjoy, but like I think that the majority of the rest of the invasion was well done.
Okay, so then we had Monday Night Raw. The takeover continued on Raw. Brock continues going on his rampage, and then he gets the crap kicked out of him.
That was great.
With
That
a pipe.
adds to the selling.
I loved it.
Brock just like
I'm
whimpering.
hyped for Brock and Ray because I am dying to see
right?
what they're gonna do.
We've been talking about this match for a long time. I feel.
Do you think that they introduce the pipe because it's gonna become a hardcore match? And they're gonna try and level the playing field that way to make it look like Mysterio had
genuinely
a
gotta-
chance, or do you think they don't do that and they just let them do like some wild Mysterio?
I don't
Brock
know because
shit?
yes, they've wrestled before, but
Yeah.
that was a different Brock.
And it's
Oh,
a different
absolutely.
era, like a different both of them.
Way different Brock. Like
And
this.
this is like MMA Brock.
Yeah, this is
You know, this is
Suplex
I'm gonna,
City Brock.
I'm
This
gonna
is I have
knee you
like
in the
3
forehead.
moves, but they're gonna be effective as fuck to you.
I'm gonna
Like,
knee you. I mean, I'm gonna elbow you in the forehead repeatedly
till you
until
gush blood.
Yeah.
Sorry, Randy.
Yeah, I feel like he's not going to be doing like selling of like a Hurricane Rana and stuff like that. Brock.
I don't know.
I have a hard time believing that, which makes me think that that's why they introduced the steel pipe to
Maybe.
level the playing field. And they're
I
gonna
mean,
have
he has to do something early to Brock to weaken him.
I think we're definitely going to see Brock take a poison rana from the top rope.
I say they do a Dominic on a pole match or like a Dominic on a forklift match, like Judy Bagwell or whatever. And if Ray wins, then He's fine. If Brock wins, he gets like
custody?
5 minutes alone with Dominic.
He gets to beat him up a third time.
Yeah,
no, it's also just another custody battle for
then Brock
Dominic
is his dad.
again. There's this long sheet explaining like who has custody of Dominic at this point. I think it's not Ray right now.
I also like whoever in WWE is scripting the whitest wrestlers to say amigo lately, because Brock said it too while backstage. Like when he was like, "Where is he? Where's that amigo?" Or he said something like that while he was backstage, and I was like, "Oh man," sounded just like AJ when AJ said amigo. It cracked me up.
Amigo.
And okay, so then also we had Seth Rollins coming out on Raw, and he talked about how. Because clearly there's been this like negative vibe towards Rollins.
Y'all were pretty happy when I lost. Pretty much is what he said.
Pretty much.
He's like, "Well, I don't care what you think." And
then he doesn't have the energy to take the title back from Brock now that Brock's back at the top of the mountain. Before we get to the Triple H side of things,
when I heard that, I was like, no, we don't need to do this again.
I thought the same thing when he said.
When he said that, I was like, I'm going to do it. No,
don't need you to keep that energy. Keep that energy.
No, I don't need to see Brock and Seth again. For the love of God, like,
it's just like
stop.
They need to do something with Seth that's not related to the titles right now. Like they just need to do something with him. We don't need him in the title picture, and because he's just been in it so long,
it hasn't worked. It just hasn't worked.
I mean, to me personally, I feel like it's because he's a face, and I know that it's like the answer can't always be turn them heel,
right.
But like he was
so much better when he was part of the
because
authority.
he's a natural heel. Because his voice sounds like that, his laugh sounds like that. These are things that are just like, hey, sorry, your voice and laugh, they're really annoying, and I don't want to like you because of it.
I get that all the time.
I know, I don't like you.
It's also just. Seth's not just a personal person. He's just not. Like this. I mean, for a face to work, you need to be. And
it almost like feels like he's been an undercover agent that's always been a heel.
It's also it's hard to pretend like you care what people think when you don't.
Yeah.
Like it's just hard. Like you're good at ignoring things that are said about you on the internet because you truly like don't give a shit what people say about you. And I think that it's the same thing like him. Like he doesn't care. So like. It's tough for him to act like he does care as like the guy who cares about all of you.
It's crazy, like in retrospect, like thinking about like all the shit that got piled on Roman Reigns, and like that dude handled it graciously for the most part.
But it's interesting because now you're seeing that people are starting to turn on Seth, and it makes you think. Like, is it Roman's fault? Is it Seth's fault, or is it just the people in the back like not knowing how to make these guys completely like they're the guy?
Or
because, dude, I'm sorry.
Or there's another option that the fans are just fickle. That
very much true.
That they'll turn on you as soon as they get bored of you.
Yeah, I mean,
sure, absolutely. I mean,
absolutely.
That's what happens at. Just even when at PWG, like as soon as a guy becomes champion, they've been rooting for like a year straight, and you're like, yes, he's gonna get the championship, wins it, and then everyone's like, I'm good.
That's kind of like when Chuck won. Everyone was
like,
Chuck's gotta win, and then when Chuck won, everyone was like, I don't really care about this title. It was like, well, you all wanted him to be the champion.
Yeah. It's really interesting to me about like especially are we still or we're on SmackDown still? Okay.
No, we're on Raw now.
Oh, we're on Raw now. I'm going to talk about Roman Reigns. I'm going to talk about Roman. Like, it's just his position right now is so weird to me.
Did they even use him last week?
That's what I don't think so.
No, he was on the plane.
Well, but even if he's not on the plane, I'm not talking about this most recent episode. I just think his place right now in the company is weird.
It kind of goes back.
Well, it feels like he doesn't want to be the top guy.
Exactly.
Right now.
Like I feel like when he came back, he was like, "Let's keep me low. I don't want to like
overdo it and be like because it's like the more he has to be on the road, the more his body gets worn down. So I think he's trying to take it a little easy.
Also, being like he probably might even think like the fans don't want this, so let's kind of like give me a break, and maybe later on we can naturally put me in that position.
I think so too. I also loved when Triple H did come out and did the whole like
Godfather thing.
where it was like we always cross at this path, like when you don't know what's next, you always come to Papa H,
Like I almost felt like he was gonna get like a kiss on the cheek or something, just like just to add to that little element.
I loved Xavier Woods tweeting during the show too when he said like, oh my God, I just realized that we've all been programmed when Triple H says the secret code word to like
that one was funny
to go into action like and then
Russian sleeper agents
or like Order 66 or whatever like from
those are called I know what you're talking about from Revenge of the Sith
yes.
but there is that whole conspiracy that Russia has implanted people in America that you say like Nightingale or some shit, and then like they turn into like secret agents and karate.
These Russians better not go to a Saves the Day show. They'll hear that song Nightingale. They're like, hey, you guys know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Yeah, that was a deep cut too.
Nightingale. Yeah.
I also love that he used the "You're either with us or against us" line, since that was like the Nexus logo who came from NXT. The "You're either Nexus
I wish
or
they brought
against
it
us."
back. You're either Nexus or against us.
I wanted them to have the NXT armbands.
I did not.
I wanted
Why
it.
not?
I was like, do
no.
it. Hell yeah. Let them tear up the ring like the Nexus did back in the day.
Because that's all they really were. Was just a bunch of NXT guys.
Yeah, man.
For sure, yeah.
They look, they done it like while Daniel Bryan was in the ring or something.
And when it was all said and done, the only one that got called up immediately was Wade.
Yeah.
The rest of them went back to developmental.
He's the only one?
If I can remember.
Didn't Justin Gabriel?
Well, I don't count Daniel Bryan because he
got fired.
He got fired, then came back as
Then
not
came
part of
back.
the Nexus.
No, they all got called up as part of the Nexus. What do you mean?
Wait, they like main roster. Like right as soon as Nexus
no, you're right. Yeah,
disbanded.
they did.
NXT ended.
but
As
way
soon as
better.
NXT disbanded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
No, not when NXT not get called up. No. I'm saying as soon as like John Cena defeated the Nexus at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Because remember, like Curtis.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like Justin Gabriel.
They all went back.
I feel like Justin Gabriel was around because I'd have to look it up. You're better with
Yeah.
history than me, so I could be wrong.
I remember.
Did all of them go back?
I know.
That's
What's his
Ryback
face? Because
did.
Darren
I
Young
know-
joined the Straight Edge Society for a second.
Who did?
Didn't Darren Young join the Straight Edge Society
Darren
for a
Young?
second?
The Straight Edge Society? I
Didn't
don't
he?
remember that.
He did.
Darren Young?
Darren Young.
Black guy
Yeah.
who's gay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Darren Young. Yeah.
I don't recall that.
What do you mean? He shaved his head as part of the Straight Edge Society. Am I crazy?
I know it was Luke Gallows, the girl, and
He
CM
shaved
Punk.
his head?
Isn't that how he got rid of that giant?
I don't know.
I'm not wrong. Yeah, the Straight
I
Edge
don't
Society gives NXT rookie Darren Young.
They may have
haircut.
shaved his head, but I don't think he joined the Straight Edge
That's
Society.
how you joined the Straight Edge Society.
No,
when
he
you
didn't.
cut
He
your
wasn't
head like
part of
that.
the stable. Like he didn't go with them.
as
He
a-
just converted.
Yes, he did.
Where? Show me like him walking
Briefly.
into the ring with them.
As a straight edge, I've never shaved anybody's head. That's not throw that out there.
I feel like I'm not wrong here.
I think I remember him shaving his head, like saying,
Never
like
once,
I'm going to
guys.
change my ways, but like I don't remember him rolling with the Straight Edge Society.
It says a few weeks later, Young became fascinated with the Straight Edge Society and decided to join them, only to quickly change his mind after finding out he had to shave his head. Ah, okay. So it was brief. Okay, fine.
He didn't even join.
He was fascinated.
Fine.
He's like, you guys don't do drugs?
It's like butt stuff. You're like, that looks interesting, but I don't know if I want to do it.
Okay.
What's next on the docket?
Yeah. And then lastly, we had so then Rollins agrees to the NXT title match. Well, first all the NXT wrestlers come out. They brawl. There's the brawl. And then
the Keith Lee ending the show.
Which is incredible.
Well, no, that was before the end of the show. First, there's like the brawl, but there was like the face-off where like Zack Ryder and all those guys came out, right? Am I right? Isn't that what happened first?
But the Keith Lee flip is
That was the end of the show.
yeah.
By the way, I love that like the and here comes the Raw roster are just the people that used to chase our truth with the 24/7 title.
They just thought the 24/7
They just-
title was
yeah,
being
they just
defended
get,
out
like,
there.
Go run over there as opposed to over there.
There's like a gate, like they
It's
open up
literally
there and
it's
start
literally
running
Zack
out.
Ryder, Eric Young, Curtis Axel, Heath Slater, just ring.
Hey, at least Zack
Titus
Ryder was on a
O'Neil.
show in Long Island. That's all that mattered.
And,
Still here, goddammit.
And Adam Cole versus Seth Rollins was a fun match. I thought it was a good match. I felt like I don't think it was as good as the Daniel Bryan match.
No.
I don't
No.
think. I think the non-finish also kind of factored into that as well. I don't think people were as into that finish. But all in all, I liked both shows.
Absolutely.
I felt like. Okay, let's move into AEW Dynamite here. Let's talk about the most pertinent thing. And that's the Cody Rhodes promo.
Oh, I thought it was me, Chris Jericho kissing Sammy Guevara on the forehead.
Which
that
was
was
great.
great.
No, it was the Cody Rhodes promo. We had Cody come out. He mentioned he mentions Eddie Graham and Bill Watts and Dusty Rhodes and talks about how they were titans in the business. And then,
also in the office.
But also management. And then he talked about how like they've helped the boys and all this kind of stuff. And then he sets up the stipulation that if he loses. If he doesn't beat Chris Jericho for the title at Full Gear, he'll never challenge for the AEW title again. Obviously, people loved this promo. People were raving.
People were amped up about it because you know what? I'm not here to say it had real emotion in it because I'm not Cody Rhodes and I didn't ask him, but. It like towards the end, his voice started to crack.
He got a little emotional feeling.
Yeah. So I think that's why it really came through is because he really I'm sorry when he said "you stupid dick." That made me laugh so hard. I don't know why because it's just you never hear it.
No, totally, it was great.
It's Bill Pullman's speech in Independence Day. It's just going to get you hyped for battle.
Well, he's perfected it.
And that's great. Has.
I mean, that is his strength.
Yeah,
obviously he's great in the ring.
But yeah.
But I remember. Way back when he did the Hall of Fame speech for Dusty, and he was way young.
That's what got him noticed.
And I remember thinking then, going like, that guy's good at like rallying.
WWE's talked about it. They said like that's when we noticed like, oh, Cody could be something.
Yeah, and that's always been his strength. So it does not shock me to see the fact that he's able to do one of these. And honestly, I felt like as much as people were hyped for that title match already, I felt like with the stipulation of like the 3 judges being added, it almost kind of like people were going like, well, now we know who's going to win. They kind of like telegraphs that like it's going to go to a draw at the end. They kind of like, I almost feel like the judge announcement kind of like made the match less exciting. And I don't think anyone thought that Jericho was going to lose the title already. Right. So I think this does in a way add a little bit of hype. I should say a little bit. It adds hype to the match. It makes people think, well, maybe he will win.
I kind of hope that they do a swerve on the judge thing and have it just finish like maybe like a couple minutes before going to time limit draw.
I think they will. I don't think they're actually going to have the judges do anything.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that it just doesn't go to.
I think Hangman turns. I think they've been making you think that MJF is going to turn.
Ooh.
And that Hangman turns here. And he's the one who causes Cody to lose because he couldn't beat Jericho and he's still pissed. And they've done all those teases on being the elite.
Doing cowboy shit.
Yeah, and he's out and he's mad on being the elite about how like he clearly is frustrated. I feel like that's where they're gonna go. And then MJF and Hangman will feud first or something or next or something like that.
All right.
That's my guess. I don't know.
I like your guess.
I just didn't like what was I gonna say? I didn't like the Ellis Island thing.
We are Ellis Island.
I was like,
we are freedom for wrestlers.
It's a little much, you know, but people love it. People love it. I mean, The Rock loved it. I mean,
I thought it was great.
I'm not gonna critique a promo that The Rock said was awesome.
You know what that means? It means you're wrong.
Yes.
I mean, because that's.
Well, no one's opinions are it's my personal taste.
No,
but I'm saying that the promo was awesome and that people loved it.
My personal taste is that you're wrong.
Yeah, The Rock said this, and you said the opposite.
No, I didn't say it was a bad promo. I actually it was a great promo. Just that one part.
But I was saying earlier in our group text is that like that speech, no matter it's like. I remember seeing Anti-Flag at the Glass House like in 2007, and like they were just doing this like crazy like anarchist speech, and I was like, I kind of agree with some things, not all of it, but I agree with it all right now.
And I love your passion.
Burn something down right now.
I also wrote before we run out of time. Is it going like 5 minutes over? Is that okay? Mm-hmm. I loved Jericho because we all talked about how much we loved the Cody thing from a few weeks ago, where we liked it a lot. The vignette. But I love that Jericho mocked the Cody vignette.
It was
for a few weeks ago.
Done.
It was perfectly done. Obviously, because it was made by the exact same team, so they could just make it the same way. But I like they flipped it on its head of like this serious thing, then became so silly because Jericho was mocking
Jake
it.
Hager.
Jack Hager.
Jack Hager. Yeah.
Was it Jack?
Is it Jake? Is it Jake? Or you made me second guess myself.
I thought you were wrong. But he was great.
The big hurt.
Great in those moments.
When he's just staring at the camera in silence.
I like when it's just like a far cut and then right into his face. Like, super great. Sammy Guevara, like, the one time, this is like maybe one of the first times where I'm like, I enjoy you. I enjoy you, Sammy Guevara, because you're very funny.
He's been. I tweeted this today when I was rewatching part of it. I honestly, Sammy Guevara, MJF, you knew was just gonna take advantage of the opportunity, and people were gonna love him. That he was gonna be a highlight of the show.
By the way, I'm gonna do a hot take right quick.
Wait, can I finish my thought right there, Fab?
Sure.
is that Sammy Guevara has really been someone who could have just faded into the back, but he has really taken advantage of the opportunities given to him and stepped up his game in such a huge way. And he's
almost become the capo of the Inner Circle.
Yep, and he also you can see him making changes every week that are helpful and making him look like more of a star.
Because he is. I feel like he's gonna be the one that benefits the most out of this group.
Absolutely, no question, no question.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
And back to my hot take, I think. Everybody was saying Cody Rhodes is the biggest babyface in AEW right now, which you could argue, absolutely. I think MJF is right there. I think he's a babyface,
which is crazy.
Which is the thing that I was complaining about. I hate it.
You know why? It's because it's not because they haven't turned him. It's because he's so goddamn funny. He's so good at what he does, and it's funny because people love it when he does he's doing the heel shit. He's doing it. But people love it.
He's still being a piece of shit, but it's like...
He hasn't changed.
And the thing is, I don't like him being, so nice about Cody while still being, a piece of shit. I'm so conflicted on what you are.
I think that... I don't know. Call me crazy. I think I like it. I like it. I like him. Because when it finally does happen, I think we'll see an even meaner MJF at the end of this.
I like that.
Personally... You got to change. He can't be the same guy just flipping people off.
But he's only been on TV 4 fucking weeks.
Okay, I'm not saying they're going to turn
5 weeks.
They're not going to turn him tomorrow.
I know that, but that's a problem. Is they never established the MJF that we love, so now everyone's cheering for him because they think he's a good guy, and I get it. It's a strength in when he turns on Cody, but I'm just why do you give up one of your best heels on the show? Why do you sacrifice that for this?
Maybe because they're going to bring in a heel stable, and it was going to be a lot of.
There's already a heel stable there.
I'm saying bringing in a heel stable with Jericho's, it's saying they knew they had that planned out, so they didn't want to have too many heels on the show that are just straight out awful heels. I don't know, maybe that's it. But I do enjoy when Ryan texts me, "Why are they doing this to MJF?"
Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I'm on an island
because he hasn't changed.
No, I'm with you.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. I'll be honest. I shouldn't say that. I will say I didn't. I don't want to complain about it too much. I don't know. Some people like it. I just thought it was they had that segment on AEW Dark where and you want to say fine, he's still a dick, right? So whatever. But then they put him on AEW Dark and he's doing this sappy thing, which was great that they had it. I'm not mad about it, but they had this sappy thing about how he stood up to teammates because they were making fun of him for being Jewish.
It's definitely not something that'll make you want to boo
and I go that doesn't make me want to boo that guy. Even when he turns, I'm like, what? That? Why are you building actual sympathy for this guy? It's one thing to be well, we all know that guy's a piece of shit. He's going to turn, but I don't think the people who weren't watching MJF before 5 weeks ago know that. And I don't know. I don't think that's what they're waiting for. And maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like I am more in tune with the mainstream audience than I am with the diehard wrestling fan. And I just don't understand why some of these people aren't getting more character building. I feel like it's important. And not in a way that makes them sympathetic.
Yeah, I know that. That's to do that with his character is very interesting.
If they paid off whatever more to him, I'm trying not to complain about it too much, but I just feel like he could have been one of their top heels already.
Because we like MJF being a piece of shit.
Yes.
It's so fun to hate him. The times we've been at PWG, oh my god, you just wanted
he's one of the people that's almost unmatched in terms of getting heat from the crowd right now.
Give me a box of tomatoes because I want to throw it at him. He's just a awful person.
And I loved Virgil being Soul Train Jones. Now that was great.
So great.
That was funny. I loved it.
I don't know about goats. I'm not a farmer, but Chris Jericho is one of the greatest of all time.
What did he say? He thought AEW stood for.
He said all Alfredo. What was it? I was dying. I tweeted it today. It was Alfredo something. What Alfredo entree
Didn't he say
wrestling or something?
didn't he say like Jericho is like the breadsticks at Olive Garden, limitless?
Limited. Oh, his abilities are like breadsticks from Olive Garden. Limitless.
Alfredo enchilada wrestling is what he stood for.
The fact that they didn't make that as a shirt already is crazy.
It's probably gonna
He
happen.
posted on Instagram, he said, the hottest free agent has dipped his breadsticks into the All Elite era. It was an easy decision since I wasn't going to give my equity back from the WWF days. I got headhunted years ago by one of my students who I mentored to this very day, Shad and Tony Khan. From there, I have given my life's work to help big media conglomerates to enhance their brand. TNT has been in my pocket since Teddy Turner. And I crushed
Teddy Turner.
No, he said, TNT has been in my pocket since Teddy Turner and I crushed WCW. So when they presented me to AEW, the first thing I thought, Alfredo enchilada wrestling. Mind blown. Finally, someone that can mix cuisine into the squared circle. So when Tony offered me equity for my brand, I knew the deal was going to be right. Tony offered me a VP position to get a piece of my ass, and I said, veal parm? Sure. Sure. But load me up with that unlimited pasta pass. He said, yes, Lord, visas, anything for that meat sauce god. When the champion called me and said, we need your meat in our inner circle, I said, it's simple to my WCW Southpaw. Show me le fuck money. Deal done.
Le fuck money.
We signed a contract at my home turf, Olive Garden, and the rest was Wednesday night history. The catering has been up. The story has been cemented, and the breadsticks are now forever unlimited.
By the way,
I'm so sad Eli wasn't here for this conversation.
By the way, it made me laugh so hard when I was on Twitter. And somebody tweeted, I feel like everybody backstage was like, okay, who has Virgil's phone number? And Joey Janela said, I do. And then he retweeted, that's exactly how it happened.
I knew that's how it happened. I was thinking the same thing when I saw it. I thought the post-match brawl did a really good job. Like, it's not like it was anything like reinventing the wheel or anything like that, but they did a great job of like intersecting all the different things.
It felt like old Raw from back in the day.
It did feel like an old Raw or WCW back in the day. 100% left you hanging. I thought they did a great job of that. I also felt like the Countdown special was really good too. If you didn't watch it, it's worth going out of your way to watch. I like that a lot.
The Full Gear Countdown special.
Mm-hmm. And then there's also so we switch to NXT before we get. Oh fuck, we don't run it. We can't do the stories, but whatever. NXT. I love that we'll get 5 minutes, and then I promise I'll let you out of here. The OC attacked Undisputed Era at the start of the show. Then they do a promo. And they get interrupted by Ciampa, Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee. I liked all that. I thought it also, in the way that we just talked about the post-match brawl, making it feel like this chaotic ending, I thought it did the exact same thing on NXT at the beginning of the show. It made you feel like a lot was happening right at the beginning. Like, oh shit, Undisputed Era already got attacked. OC is here for some reason, but then the NXT boys got to stand up for our company. I liked that. Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest was good. I thought it was kind of very similar to their last match.
Yeah, it was.
Even they did the same finish, but in reverse. Yeah. The Killian Dane stuff was fine for what it was. I'm assuming they're gonna do the rubber match and then a 3-way, which that's fine. I'm good with that. Yeah. Shayna versus Dakota Kai, I thought was so good. Like
they tore the house down, and it really seemed, and I really liked that they made Dakota Kai, even though like you never really thought like, oh, there's going to be an even match. You thought she had some moments.
Yeah,
you definitely did, and I think a lot of that is owed to Shayna.
Yep,
Shayna really made her look good in that match.
I also feel like Dakota did a good job of like changing her demeanor a little bit, because we saw when she kind of got dominated by Shayna already, and now it's almost been like where she was like, no.
I totally forgot about that whole thing about how she was scared of Shayna.
Yeah, she's scared of Shayna.
So I feel like it shows how long she's been gone.
Yeah, and I think it was a nice progression of seeing like now she's got her a little more confidence, but still like, you know, she's got the will, but still wasn't able to like get her way. Right. And I gotta say that thing where, you know, there's the whole post-match thing. Mia Yim came out, EO, Candice, everyone.
Mia Yim was swinging that kendo stick. Boy, howdy.
But I gotta say that part where Rhea Ripley tells Dakota Kai that she wasn't good enough to be on the team and that she was picking Mia Yim was one of the most depressing things they've had on NXT TV in so long. Like,
really made you feel for her.
Yeah, I actually said "aw" out loud, like "aw," like because she was in the whole like she accepted it, like yeah, no, I'm cool. I get it, you know. I'll just be over here getting it over here and the other. Yeah, okay.
There's some chicken breasts and catering right now.
So yeah, I thought they did a really good job of selling that, and I'm really interested in where they're going to go with that. Do you guys think they're going to make Dakota the 4th member of Shayna's team now? Because it's interesting the fact they didn't have any of the horsewomen as their team. I thought that was weird.
None of them.
Which was weird because you would think they would have done the horsewomen versus, just like they've done Undisputed Era.
It seemed like the easiest way to go about things. But.
You'd think. But now there's like this looming 4th person. I feel like she's the only one that would seemingly fit in that spot. That she goes.
Wait, so who would you have had if it was the horsewoman for the 4th person?
So I probably would have said
it was because it's not Ronda. Clearly.
What if it is Ronda?
It's no way Ronda would go work NXT. You're out of your mind.
I would say someone else in NXT that maybe like hasn't had a lot of TV exposure or that they can kind of like make their little lackey, or
Who's
just
the girl
Io or Bianca like they did throw in there, right?
Sure.
But I like the idea of Dakota kind of like turning on her crew and joining that team.
It'd be interesting for sure.
I also thought Dijakovic and Swerve, Dijakovic versus Swerve, and Tony Nese versus Angel Garza were both good matches, fun matches. I don't know if there's much to like dissect. They were both like good matches that were worthy of watching. And then there was the main event, the OC versus Ciampa, Riddle, and Lee. What'd you guys think of that match?
I have not watched it yet.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet? You bitch. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I liked it. It was fine.
I'm sorry.
It was cool seeing the OC in NXT.
Like I said, like it was cool. Like seeing like them go. I mean, yeah, seeing somebody like AJ Styles and like Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson like who's never been to NXT, as far as I know.
No, they haven't.
And now that it's
they
crazy.
all bypassed NXT.
Yeah, it's crazy seeing somebody like because you almost like see them in a different camera view.
You totally
because you do, but it was cool. Then the bell rang, and I don't mean that like then the bell rang, but like. And it was fine. It was fine. Like, everybody did their fun stuff, like everybody got their spots in. And
I really enjoyed seeing Matt Riddle and AJ Styles go at it because I was like, man, that's a dream match.
That's a match that nobody would have ever thought about.
Yeah, like I hadn't even thought about how badly I'd want to see that match until they started wrestling, and then I was like, oh, I need that. That's a thing I need. More of that. There was also that scary moment when Matt Riddle did that like twisting backflip thing over the tope thing over the top rope and kind of clipped his butt on the top rope and almost freaking broke his neck. That was sketchy for a second. But the picture looked cool after the fact, where like he's flipping over the top rope. It looked kind of cool. And then after the match, we had the Balor attack. Riddle, Cole then interferes. We get the no contest ending. But we get that cool moment where Finn's doing the finger pointing at AJ, who's doing the too sweet in the ring. I feel like we're getting the OC with Finn Balor versus Undisputed Era at some point in the very near future. That seems what they're building up towards here.
They have to.
They don't do it. You think they do it? Nah. You don't think they do it at Survivor Series, do they?
See, that's my only thing is like, yes, I do. But then I think to myself, well, you can't bring Finn back to the main roster that quickly even though it's part of the main roster, I guess. So I guess not. It's not that big of a deal because it's all your brand.
And he's representing somebody else.
True. But I also think that like they're doing a War Games match the night before with those guys. Mm-hmm. They're gonna have them do a War Games match and then do the OC versus Undisputed Era the next night. The next night.
It's a tag match. They can rest for
a tag match both nights. I don't know.
It's a different tag match. A tag match in War Games is very different, right?
Very different.
Yes, it is. You're in the ring the entire time.
I'm just saying you're gonna get the shit kicked out of you in a War Games match. The believability factor of then going to do the 4-on-4 match. I feel like they're gonna do crazy things in the War Games the night before. Like Adam Cole, the last time he had that cage match, he like went off the top of the cage through a table or whatever. So I was just thinking along those lines. Okay,
you got a nice sailing drip.
We're out of time here. But there's not a ton to discuss about these stories, but I want to say this real fast. We put up a story this week also about Scarlet Bordeaux signing with WWE and NXT. Super stoked about that. I think that's a great signing. I think that she's someone who will probably that she will not be long in NXT, I would imagine.
She's definitely going.
Yeah, there's no chance that she's there for a long time, in my opinion. I also like that Tyson Fury is already setting up his next fight or next match in WWE, saying he wants to wrestle Brock next and possibly at WrestleMania after his first match. Would you guys want to see that?
Yeah.
I think he did a great job.
I liked him too. Like, it wasn't like, obviously, it wasn't like some 6-star match, but it was an entertaining spectacle. And
it was
I'd be
a
cool
lot
with that.
more than we were expecting.
100%. And lastly, Jericho return to New Japan. He's going to wrestle Wrestle Kingdom against Tanahashi.
Which I am very much looking forward to.
Also very much looking forward to that. I was also very excited with the fact that Hiromu returned. Tanahashi.
Yeah, wow.
So cool.
He's been gone for a long time.
And I missed that guy. You know, he grew on me, and he was, I was scared he was never going to come back after breaking his neck. So, cool to see that guy back.
Do you see that new shirt, the Friends shirt, instead of like
no,
how they made like the Moxley and his guy, but it says Hiromu and
Daryl.
Nice. That looks so good.
Jamie, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at JAMIE_IOVINE or on Instagram, JAMIEIOVINE. Check out Network, NTWRK, for our daily raffles and drops of dope stuff that you can't find anywhere else at the time. And because it comes out later.
I know, that's why I like the little asterisk there.
Yeah, and also just check me and my upper class out every weekend for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Yeah, that match that we referenced will air for a few more weeks, right?
I don't think this weekend, but the following weekend.
Because it was the third episode.
Oh, so maybe 3 weeks from now.
Was it the third episode?
It was, yeah. So maybe 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, so probably like 3 weeks from now, and you can find that on Fight,
Fight or Houston, K-Doc, all that crap.
Kevin, where can people find you at?
You guys can find me at Kevin Gets Rad cross-platform.
ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website where you can find all the top stories in the world of professional wrestling throughout the week at Wrestling Sheet on social media. YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find the video of this show. That's where you can find any interviews I do. It's where you can find other content as well. Please subscribe while you're there. Like the videos, comment. I appreciate it very much. But if you just want to listen while you're driving or doing whatever you want to listen, whenever you're listening to audio things, check out our podcast feed. It's Wrestling Sheet Radio. Just search it on all the major podcast platforms. You can find it there. Subscribe as well. Also, check me out every week on WWE Backstage on Tuesday nights on Fox Sports 1. It's on at 8 o'clock 8 o'clock Pacific time, 11 o'clock Eastern time. It's with host Renee Young. Booker T's on there as well. Make sure you guys check it out. Lots of fun stuff. Adam Cole is going to be the host. Is going to be the guest next week. My first time having to advertise Backstage show, and I'm screwing it up. But
fine.
But Adam Cole is going to be the guest next week. There's going to be lots of fun stuff in store. I'll be there as well with another news report. So go make sure you guys check it out. All right, that's it. We're done. Officially tapping out for now. Until next time, stay out of the dirt and keep your eye on the sheet.